How we doing? Welcome to the Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. Hope you guys are having a great day today. It's a nice day. It's a little chilly, a little sun out there, but it's gorgeous, man. We're up, and that is all that matters. Welcome to Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, folks. Monday through Friday at noon, and we got a great show for you guys lined up. Before that, though, check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com. Give us a call at 847-769-8609 to book a show, folks. And every show is dedicated to the first responders, but most importantly, it's dedicated to people like you who take the time and watch the show Monday through Friday for your lunchtime hour, or if you're watching it any other time during the day. Now, you're watching it live, coming into you at 5 different social media outlets at this particular time. Tony Ocean Show Facebook page, the Mo Carraro Facebook page. We're on LinkedIn. We're on X, which is formerly Twitter. We're on YouTube. And, of course, we're on the Ocean's Pit Facebook page. And coming in January 2024, we'll be going live on Instagram as well. So I'm glad you guys are watching it, and that's all important. We have a great show for you lined up this week, folks. My guest today, folks, coming in about another 10 minutes or so, is a great singer in the Chicagoland area. He fronts a band called Focal Point. We're talking about Michael Oliveria, folks, originally from New York, now in Chicago. And he got a lot of good stuff. He's got a brand new company called Oliveira Customs, T-shirts and stuff, hats, all that stuff, promoting. That's very cool. What I always like promoting in our shows is buy local, shop local, and that's what it's about, man. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about music. We'll talk about his band and blah, 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 blah. Now, tomorrow, the lovely Laura Ocean returns as my co-host on Thursday. And Friday, my good buddy Jerry Maselli will be on. Maselli, Jerry, does a lot of great stuff with some kids, folks. Very good thing he does for kids. He's been a great guy, so he's on our show on Friday. So we're excited about that stuff. Now, guys, big week coming up. Tonight, Rosario's in Roselle, 7 o'clock with Double T, Tony Toto. Tomorrow, going back to my hometown of Elmwood Park with my good buddy Jerry Jams, Renda, and Mikey D. That's a 7 o'clock hit. Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse with Double T, Tony Toto. And Saturday, sold-out show, Champaign, Illinois. Shop for a Cop will be opening up for Dan Hampton. We're talking about Jim McMahon. We're talking about Big Dog, the Bounty Hunter, and many, many more for Big Mike mega events. That's this Saturday, Ocean's Rat Pack in Champaign, Illinois. That show is sold out. All right, guys, let's get right to the sponsors. We got to thank our pals from Ace Hardware. Buy local, shop local. Ace is the place, folks. Norwich, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville. Here's some of the great deals in November. They're waiving the $20 diagnosis fee, which covers a 108-point inspection ready for winter. So have your snowblower served. Tune-up single-stage snowblowers is $105 plus parts. That's our good friends from Ace Hardware. A lot of great specials going on, too, also, folks. Take advantage of their auto key programming in all their stores. They program in car cut keys up to 50% less than the dealership. Visit their helpful help to speak to a certified team member, guys, and check out their holiday displays, light blow-ups, yard decor, and much, much more. That's Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, folks. Helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. That's our good friends from Ace Hardware. All right, let's get down to another great, folks. I love promoting our sponsors because that's what makes the show work. Public relations. Every new company, every artist, every musician needs a PR guy. I know that because it works. Bill Gates once said, if I was down to my last marketing dollar, I would spend it. And sound advice from a guy that's worth $100 billion. We're talking about Bernie DeMayo and DeMayoPartners.com. Bernie's been my publicist for how many years? TV, radio, it's very newspaper. I mean, he gets you press. He gets you places. He gets what it's about, man. Worked for Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan. Worked for Chicago White Sox. Worked for Phil Stefani Group. Won many, many awards. You need Bernie DeMayo. That's DeMayo.com. 312-217-5658. Or go to BernieDeMayo.com, folks. This guy will not rob you. He will not take you to the bank. You tell him Tony O sent you. That's BernieDeMayos.com. And, of course, another great sponsor. We're talking about my good friend Mary Grievous. Folks, that's right. Let's turn your real estate dreams into reality. Ready to assist buyers, sellers for sale by owners, expired listing, Berkshire Hathaway, Stark Real Estate. Call my friend Mary at 630-688-1725. She will help you, man. She gets the job done. That's my good friend, Mary Grievous. And also, she also works for NTD Vacations. And you know what that means? That means it's Chicago Music Cruise, folks. We are so excited for the Chicago Music Cruise coming up January 14th through January 7th through January 14th. Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, the wonders of the sea. This is the biggest ship on the water right now, folks. 4 football fields long. 4 football fields long, folks. It's going to be fantastic. We're starting off in Florida, Coco Key, Bahamas, St. Martin, and Puerto Rico. That's right. And it's a great lineup, of course. Tony Ocean, the full main event band, my other rock band, Mojo's Jukebox, and the ringleaders themselves, the master of ceremonies, the biggest band in the city of Chicago in the Midwest, our friends Richie and Seventh Heaven. All of us 1 week, baby. Woo! It's going to be fantastic to hang with friends. We're jamming together. We were at Richie last night at his home, going over the whole week for the cruise, and we're just excited. Seventh Heaven, there's a bunch of great guys. They're a working machine that every band should try to follow how to do this with their advertising, with their promo, with their stuff. They are fantastic for what they do, and that's why they are working their ass off and doing a great job. I'm proud and honored to be part of the Seventh Heaven Chicago Music Cruise 2024. All right, folks, now let's get one more sponsor in before we bring up our guest, man. And because it's the holiday season, and you know how much we love holidays. I love the holidays. I hope you guys love the holidays. What do you do? Now, if you don't want to go to Chris Kringle Mark downtown, or maybe Aurora, how about Sunny Acres? That's right, Sunny Acres. That's 29 West 310 North Avenue, West Chicago, Illinois, folks. Come celebrate the holidays with the big, bright trail of lights for Sunny Acres Farm, where there will be millions of dazzling lights, a sparkling walking trail with fun stops along the way while featuring larger-than-life holiday displays and set to your favorite holiday tunes. That's right, folks. Be sure to come there on the weekends and meet Santa Claus for all you kids out there. And, guys, remember, check the website, reserve your tickets and time slots. SunnyAcres.com. That's a Sunny with an O. Sunny with an O. Our good friends from Sunny Acres. All right, so we'll get to the other sponsor a little later, folks. We have a show to do, and I am so happy to be able to do this. And you know what? What I like about having all sorts of guests on my show for all sorts of lives. We've had politicians. We've had some musicians, of course, everyday people that work their butt. And I love it especially because it's buy local, shop local, and everything they do. I think that's very, very important in our business, folks, because that's what keeps us going, man. Let's see who's watching today. Let's say hello to some of our friends here. Albert from the Ron Onesti organization, former Chicago Bear, Patrice in the house, Daryl, Uber drivers too. That's right, we had Uber drivers. There you go, Mark. Kim Peterson LeFew, how you doing? We got Santa Barbara, California. We have Ontario watching today. Double T in the house. Pina General's in the house. Nina Turry, how you guys doing? New York City in the house. Luann, how you guys doing, man? Ohio, we've got Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. We've got our good friends from Ogobogie, Iowa. And we also have our good friends from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Ooh, all the stuff to get out. Darlene, welcome. Keith, how you guys doing? Oh, boy, this is very cool. And I got a great guy on. I don't know Michael that well. Met a couple times. Great guy, great voice, great band, Focal Point. If you love rock and roll, baby, and that's what it's about. Old school rock and roll, which is the good stuff. So without any further, David, we have Naperville in the house. David Joseph, Hello, my friend Naperville. We'll be in Naperville, the brand new club on the 27th of December. We'll be at the Matrix, brand new club in downtown Naperville, Illinois. I hope to see you there, David. What's up, Danny Ramonde on saxophone, Mojo's house? Richard, I thought you were wearing a priest collar until I noticed you had a zipper. Yes, Richard. Well, no, there was no priest collar until I gave that up a long time ago. Imagine me as a priest. Oh, my God. Anyway, Richard, I hope you're doing well. Let's bring up my pal, folks, from Focal Point, the band, Mike Oliveria. Let's get him up here. Michael, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Mo. Having a good
Hey,
time. Great show so far.
look at the smile on you, pal. You must be very, very happy. What's up with you, pal? Everything good?
Yeah, things are pretty good right now. I'm just, hustling and working. I'm taking kind of some of your lead on getting out there and trying to make things happen, with the band and, work, what have you. That's all,
That's
It's
all you
been,
can do, Michael. Yeah, and I always say to support the local bands because you know what? I mean, and going back to, when you get to musicians and stuff like that, sometimes there's a lot of jealousy and shit like that. But what I don't understand is
yeah.
here's what I don't understand. I can see if all four bands were all Journey tribute bands,
Hmm.
all trying to get that one gig. Okay, but everybody's so different. There's nothing that sounds exactly alike. I mean,
Right.
people can work, do their stuff. Everybody, they might do the same songs. We all do some of the same songs, but who
We
cares?
do.
I also believe, before we get into everything else, that you have to be a human jukebox. You have to be a
Yeah.
jukebox now because people want to hear hit after hit
Right.
after hit. Right,
It's
Michael? So let's
absolutely
start
true.
with you. Let's start real fast. Where was Michael born?
I was born in New York. I was a Bronx baby. Didn't really spend my childhood really in New York. It was mostly when the family, after I was born, we went to Detroit. The family went there. And then from there, we ended up in Bensonville, Illinois. And really kind of roots were
Bensenville,
done
Illinois.
in Bensonville. Yeah, pretty much went through the whole, you know, if you want to say school system there and lived, a kind of happy life in there. And finally actually got a house after several years into what they called the townhouse area, which was really a kind of neat, kind of culmination of people and cultures, that kind of thing. So, and I'm still friends with guys from that era, from that time. It's
What?
it's it's really kind of cool. Even though the whole thing after the O'Hare expansion has been completely erased from humanity, it's gone.
Yeah, it's completely gone. But you know what,
Yeah.
Mike? What's said nice when you still talk to some old friends and
Oh,
still
yeah.
that you grew up with, which is very cool. Mel, congratulations to you and Steven from the Fab Four, the great Beatle tribute band. We're going to try to get Steven on in December. But Michael, all right, give me the heritage, Michael. Family heritage. What is it?
Family heritage. Well, mother's maiden name is Tomasini, came from Corsica area, migrated to Puerto Rico. Same with my father, same thing. Oliveira migrated to Puerto Rico and then went to New York. So technically Puerto Rican, Corsican backgrounds in Portugal, if you want to say, after we did that 23 Me thing or whatever else, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and then, family in New York, and from New York, most of my family, extended family was in New York. And then, like I said, we migrated to Detroit, then also to Chicagoland area, Bensonville, and just found roots there.
Michael, growing up
With
with,
a big family,
you have a big
yeah,
family, Michael?
well, I got one brother, my brother Frank, who plays bass in my band, or in our band. I shouldn't say it's my band; it's our band. And I've got my sister Christina, who lives down in Vegas, and my other sister Denise, who has been living here in the Bentonville area for pretty much for Wooddale area for.
What was it like growing up as a kid, Michael? What was it like? Because look,
Yeah,
Puerto Rican, Italian, we can get that family that there's a lot of yelling and screaming, and and not that they're mad at you. It's just like,
no,
what are you doing today? I'm going to the fucking store. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like I'm going to the cleaners, ma. Everybody thinks like someone's stabbing somebody in somebody's house next door, but that's
there
just
was
growing
some.
up, right?
Yeah, you know what? There was some of that in other families. With my family, they were pretty tight. Mine was, with everything we had, we didn't have grandma, we didn't have grandpa around, we didn't have uncles and aunts, so it was only us, and we kind of had to learn to, you know, figure things out with the family. That's basically, and we're still tight today. I'm tight with my brother, tight with my brother and my sisters. You know, it was, I found later on that we were kind of an oddity. And even when my father passed, in the eulogy, I had said, you know, I came from a dysfunctional family, and everybody looked at me like I'm crazy, you know. And like I said, I learned that we were dysfunctional because we all got along. We got along really well. We were a musical family. My father was into music. He taught us, you know, the guitar, and you know, was very vocal with my brothers and sisters and harmonies, all that kind of fun stuff. So we had a lot of good moments, you know, back then with my dad and my mom. But you know, growing up in that area, we didn't know that we were not well off. You know, we had a place to be. We had family. We had friends. And it wasn't until later that we realized, oh, you know what, we're not rich, you know, in that way.
But you were. But Michael, you were rich.
Family. We were rich in family in a lot of ways. And that's one of the things I really kind of understood as we kind of grew up and grew through, you know, different stages of our lives, you know, and we're still that way today. So,
Michael,
you know, we make an effort.
Well, in the music, who influenced you? Did you see somebody on television? Was it the Beatles or somebody? Who was it?
Well, you know what? At first, I would say, I mean, first off, it was my father, you know, just in the sense of how his music was. But, you know, at that time, my brother was really the musician, and it still is today. He was a professional musician touring with, you know, in Texas, you know, years back with Three Dog Night and some of these other bands, you know, doing the whole circuit in Texas. So from age 19 on out, he took off. Was the whole music career, you know, that he had with that. That was his first life. And then he came back and has a corporate life and is still a musician, a very excellent bass player as well. So, you know, we get together, we enjoy ourselves when we're playing with the band and everything, you know, on that level. But influencing, that was, my brother was a big influence as far as as a band. And then the music that he played was the Boston, you know, was Kansas, Led Zeppelin, you know, Journey, REO. I mean, there's several different bands. I mean, UFO, I should say, was more so than REO.
God, UFO, man. Phil Moog, what an incredible singer. Very underrated. When they were together with Shanker, Pete Way, and all them guys, wow, they just were like.
Yeah, they were unstoppable.
And you know what I loved about them? Because they had that heaviness to them, but they also had that pop kind of thing to them, too.
Well, they were able to bridge.
Shoot, all these great songs by UFO.
Yeah. In fact, I know Anthony Bethany, he plays keys with you. He goes into some of the UFO songs when we were playing, because I use him as a sub every once in a while when our keyboard player was around, and he nails it. I mean, he just nails it.
My brother likes the UFO stuff.
My brother lights up. He's like, let's play that. So, you know, it's fun. It's fun.
The whole beginning, you know, Rock Bottom and all that, and yeah, good stuff, man. Michael, so growing up, like I said, you traveled around. You had a big family. What's more? How about this? Track and field. You ran a 4.3, 400 yard. Well, how old were you when you did that?
I was probably around 17 or 18, and thinner.
Were you active? And were you like good in class and stuff? Or were you like the class clown like myself?
No, I was an honor student, believe it or not. I mean, I kind of kept. I mean, I wasn't like heavy calculus like my son. You know, I don't have that kind of mathematical brain, but I did well. I did well in school, and it wasn't something that it was. I had struggles. There's no doubt. I had my areas of struggle and needed to up my game to stay in sports. That was the biggest thing with my family. My mother says, you know, if you don't keep up your grades and things start slipping, we're taking you out of, you know, football. We're taking you out of track, and I don't want to lose those things. So I just kind of focused in on what I can get to and get through. You know, I wasn't an A+ student, but I would say I was a good solid B.
Well, that's very, very cool. And then, anyway, you're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. Michael Lavalera, folks, from Focal Point. Let's get real quick. Quick sponsor on the way, folks. Real simple here. You know, we love our sponsors. Give it up for our good friends from Deutsch Power Center. That's right. Deutsch, servicing the construction and diesel industry in the Chicagoland area for the last 100 years. That's Deutsch Power Center. Give them a call at 224-276-6550. Let's not forget our good buddies from Don Esteban Cigars out of Tarpon Springs, Florida. Hand-rolled, that Javier will deliver them right to your house, man. I'm telling you. Great for stocking stuffers. Call Javier at 727-366-7536. And Trico Hair Experts, recreating great hair days. Forget the comb-overs. Forget the hats. Forget all that shit. Go to Trico Hair Experts, 773-999-7888. And my good pal Michael is on with us. Focal Point. I love Focal Point. Love the name. Where'd you get it from?
You know what? The name came from our guitar player, Mark Bowman. We were having a hard time trying to figure out what we're going to call ourselves. And we, as you know, any band, you go through all these weird scenarios, as you're trying to figure out who you're going to be and what you're going to be. And so Focal Point was there, and we just ended up going back to it all the time. It's like and then we're like, you know what? Let's just keep this. Let's just stick with it, and it's been that way, gosh, since 19.
It's a pretty cool name. And speaking of very cool guy who's watching right now, mutual friend of ours, the great Ron Onesti is watching.
Ronnie,
folks. The Arcada.
I got to give a shout out to Brian and Christina over at the cigar shop. They're out there smoking and probably laughing and making poking fun of me.
I hope so. You gotta love it. And we had and we'll talk about this fast. Me and Ron got the opportunity to meet Kiss. Are you been a Kiss fan, Mike, your whole life growing up?
I saw the show yesterday. It was cool, and it brought me back. I wish I could have found the picture, but I had a picture of myself with one of my buddies way back when, that was Brian and Rob Spozinski at their house. And we painted our faces. I think at the time I was Paul Stanley. I had the star on my face. But here's this little skinny kid, no shirt on and jeans, parked next to a bike. And I know I got it somewhere, but I was going to try and find it. I couldn't find it and to shoot it at you. But
I think Ron Onesti, too, I think when they had to Kiss Mr. Speed or somebody, or Ace Frehley was coming, and Ron Onesti actually is a picture of him painted, I think, maybe as Paul Stanley, if I'm correct.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, here's a band, Michael. Look, we're talking about musicians. We're trying to keep ourselves together, keep the core together. I mean, Kiss had, I don't know, maybe 9 guys in the band total between guitar players and drummers.
I didn't know that. I didn't know idea it was 9 guys in the band.
Yeah, absolutely. But 50 years they survived. And I was always a Kiss fan after the makeup, and then I went back to the makeup afterwards. But I mean, they were huge growing up. They don't realize the influence that these guys had, and the first probably band with marketing. They have 91 different patents out there, Michael.
Amazing, 91. They were the standard of rock and roll, and I think like I mentioned, I said every band is kind of taking a lesson from Kiss and kind of moved on from there and did their own little spin off of it. They were just the creators, and they were the ones that were the people, the guys that charged for it and made it happen. I mean, Gene Simmons is a master marketer. Let's face it, what he is. He's crazy when he's good. And even back, I was part of the Kiss Army. I had the tattoo. I had all that stuff. When I wrote in a comment after I saw the show yesterday, I said, I wonder if I'm still enlisted in the Kiss Army. I don't know. Army.
Yeah, you get that card. And you know what? It was funny. I think I did the top 10 most liked Kiss members, and Ace Frehley came in at number 1.
I was shocked that he was number 1, but you know what?
I loves Ace. I think it was just because he's so cool. It's like Keith Richards. He's like a Keith Richards type.
Exactly. But yeah, the band that just totally rocked stage wise. I mean, theatrics, from marketing. I mean, they cover so much of the gamut, everything, even to this day. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like you were mentioning, even the sign, the meet and greets was just like like an assembly line. Like you were mentioning, it's like boom, ba boom, ba boom. It's cool to see that. Can you mimic that?
Gene Simmons is going ching, 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 ching. Every guy that's walking by, he's got
we know how that's going. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I wish it was that way for every band, but it's not. It's not that. I mean, but you know what? You go out, you do meet greet people. For what we do, for what I should say, for Focal Point, we've never hit a huge, level of, success. It's more of a personal, if you want to say, drive and passion. But we gather together, we meet different people come out, it gives them a chance to kind of have a moment, and have some fun and touch base, because we're all busy in our lives, we're all busy and the time flies, how time flies. And it's cool to see people come on out and to engage. And that's what I enjoy.
Well, I think it's also important. Yeah. Just like you said, Michael, it's important. It takes them away from their everyday bullshit for those 2 hours, listen to you, and they can pretend they're in their cars jamming to Freebird or Boston, More Than a Feeling, when they first heard More Than a Feeling.
Right.
And that's good stuff. Michael, let's see now. As a vocalist, now let me just get back to one thing. As a vocalist, any warm up, hot tea? What do you do? A little shot of booze? What is it with you?
You know what? Back then, when Matt Donegan was our drummer, we used to do a shot of like. Fireball, years back. And that was fine. I found, later on now it's just soda water with a little lemon. I kind of keep it cool. I'll have a beer or so. I used to, maybe have a couple as the night was going on, and my brother kind of says, you know what, there's a point where you can have fun, and there's a point where you got to entertain. And when it's kind of getting crossed, woo, I would get it back from him, as far as like, you got
In
to,
there.
the point guy, you have to be the one in control, not out of control. So,
Yeah.
there's a balance there. I love to have fun, but there's also two thresholds I got to watch out for, at my age, and, just because of health reasons, whatever it be. But
Sure,
it's
sure.
just,
And listen, I can vouch for that. I was notorious many years ago. But then another thing that you never realized until like in December, I lost my voice for like a week for the first time ever in a long time. I was a little scared. I didn't realize till my doctor told me, my voice doctor, and they said that when you're drinking the alcohol, it dries your throat out while you're
it does.
performing. So you're
It does.
better off trying to drink on the days that you don't work and stuff like that. So
I got a funny story. I got to mention. You just mentioned something that just kind of sparked something. I didn't prepare for it, but years back, we went and did a show down the South Side, and we were new into get into bars and what have you. So I had no idea how to prep for different things. But as my guitar player, we're driving there. I just realized these Altoids were like this really cool thing that made your throat feel fresh. So I'm like, wow, you know what? I'm going to keep popping these Altoids. And as we're going down about an hour into it, I'm realizing, wow, how fresh and whatever. I get on stage and it's like my voice collapsed. It's one thing you don't want to do is have Altoids before you hit the gig. And I just
that gets you, right?
My brother's looking at me like I'm stoned or something else, but it was the Altoids. After then, there's been a big joke, with my guitar player. He says, hey, you want some Altoids before we go on up? So that never happens anymore. Even though it's a nice feeling.
At least now no more Altoids. Michael, you have a new business besides being in the band Focal Point, a brand new business called Oliveria Customs T-shirts. What's that all about? How did that come about?
You know what? Oliveira Customs is it was an offshoot of Oliveira Designs. Oliveira Designs is me. I do design work. Yeah. I do graphics. I do signage. I've had to diversify as far as being an artist in all different areas to survive. It's just I've had to do that. T-shirts and graphics. I started airbrushing when I was a young guy, and did that for a long time. And it led me into the T-shirt business, and I learned screen printing back then. Put it away, kind of just shelved it, didn't really do much with it. I would take orders here and there. But then new technology came along. A buddy of mine got a machine that's what they call direct to film. And that's this thing, this shirt right here. It allows you to take a digital graphic and just basically output it without the backgrounds, with certain things that I was looking for years back. Well, now the technology is available to do it now. I can print 1, 2, 3, 5, any which size, whatever else, print it out.
Well, you sent me something, Michael.
I did.
You sent me one, and it looked fantastic. I showed my wife, Laura. She go, holy cow, let's talk to Mike after the show.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Thank you for doing that.
I did that last
But that's
night.
very cool. Mike, it is great now. What's the website there? First of all, I know you can call Mike at 224-634-0257.
Yep.
But what's the email or website if they want to interested in getting this product?
The website is my last name. It's Oliveira, Olivera, customs.com. And it's a Shopify account. You could take a look at the shirts, what we have to offer. You can order right there off the site. It gives me an inventory. It's a great back end scenario. I'm working with bands to kind of create merch for them and give them an outlet, whether, if people want to buy from the shop, or if they want to purchase their own shirts and have them there on site, which is fine. I handle the direct to film. I handle screen printing, and we also do another product which is called direct to garment, which is a similar process, but it's more like a screen print, more like a concert tee. It's a higher end product. It's a little bit more expensive on the outlay, as far as quantity, because you got to hit minimums.
Sure.
But for those that are serious, that are looking to do that type of business or that kind of merch, it's worth it, on any level. But this allows, different, I would say, bands in a sense to have an area, a landing spot where, they can offer merch. And I also too, anything that comes through the band will get a cut. So if bands want to talk to me, I'll talk about pricing, whatever else, to them directly. And it is a profit center for them as well. So it's not just all my.
It's a good service that you're doing. And like I said about buy local, shop local, I think it's very, very important. Michael, you had a great, interesting career, but back in September of 15 to 2022, was it? You had almost a very bad car accident. Tell me, first of all, thank God you're okay, but Did that change your whole mentality and your life of how you went about things once that happened? After you recovered and everything?
Yeah, actually, the the accident actually happened this September. It was September 15th of this
Oh,
year.
okay, okay,
So
okay. I got
it was a bad accident. I was T-boned by from the law, and that's
You're breaking
what
up,
had
Michael.
happened.
You're
190.
breaking.
Oh, are you
You're
there?
breaking
Hello.
up. You're breaking up a little bit. Yeah. While you try to
Okay.
fix that real fast, Michael from Focal Point, ladies and gentlemen, Armando Supermarkets, 925 Liberty Street in Elgin, Illinois. Buy local, shop local. And let's not forget Mike and Gigi from Crash Champions Collision Auto Repair. For all your collision auto repair needs, go to crashchampions.com. We're talking to my friend Mike. Of course, he got a bad accident September 15th. Yeah, I mean, sometimes when things like that happen, Mike, it kind of changes your whole way of thinking, doesn't it?
It has, and it did for in a lot of positive ways. You know, I mean, Oliveira Customs kind of came from some of it just for the fact that I like to create something that didn't necessarily I need to personally do something all the time. I wanted an outlet where I could have my artwork, showcase it, and kind of get a little more serious with it and project it. So, you know, that's what this part of the as far as Oliveira Designs or Oliveira Customs came from. After thinking about a lot of different things and saying, you know what, I want to do things that count. I want to have joy. I want to, enjoy myself, enjoy my life, enjoy my art. So that was one thing it projected. And also, too, you know what, have a little security, if I can do so in the future as well.
I
So
bet.
there were some positives that came from the accident. I was shaken up. There's no doubt. I mean, I thank my girlfriend Christina Sussman for coming out and really helping me and kind of getting me back on track there. It took a little bit to kind of get my bearings in line to make things happen. But I just it makes you think. It makes you pause about life and to also to know that things aren't guaranteed as far as what can happen in the next week or so sometimes. So you just cherish a lot of things. There's a stop and smell the roses kind of scenario. You do
Sure,
that.
sure,
But you
sure.
also to try and also for me is that I try to make room and make plans and to try and appreciate what I have as well. It can always get better, but I'm trying to appreciate what I have. So
Well, Michael, that's fantastic. And you got that positive energy behind you, and which is always cool. You're always very cool when I see you, man. You've always been supportive, and I love that about you. And for
oh, there's
what you
no
do, are you a sports fan, Michael? Let's talk real quick. I don't know how much you are about Bears fans, but it was a great quote. I'm not a Bears fan. I feel horrible. Here's a because they won the game this past weekend. And regarding to the Bears, even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
exactly. You know
Yeah,
what?
exactly.
Years back, I was a Bears fan, and we're going back to the Jim McMahon days, the Walter Payton days. Walter Payton was like my hero. He was who I tried to emulate as a running back when I used to play in high school and through as a younger player too. And I excelled in that. I had fun. That was a whole another lifetime. I have friends of mine that we shared a lot of those cool memories, and I've had my touchdowns. I've had my moments. So that I'm fulfilled sports in that way. I found later on, this was just for me, was later on I had found that watching sports like NFL or what have you was more on the tune of like being on the sideline. It didn't have the same appeal to me as playing the sport, and because it's two different games. You're in a sport, you're in football. It's like being in war. In that sense, a mimic war scenario, and you're a player in it. Whereas being on the sidelines cheering for the guys, I felt in a lot of ways like I was lacking something or I was missing something out of it. Yeah, you can
Sure.
kind of pick out the plays. You can have your favorite players and guarantee that like you're going to have a good time. There's no doubt about that. But I just found what there was a difference for me of being an active participant as opposed to a spectator. So my time to really kind of be like I'm a dedicated fan for this particular, football team or this one, it just faded, especially when all the trading started happening. Your favorite running back all of a sudden was now, running for the other team. And it
Yes,
was
yes,
just a
yes.
weird scenario. Like, gosh, there's no legacy guys anymore. Everybody's like on their own deal. So I lost a lot of push and drive for it, and I appreciate it as well today. But I don't spend too much time, dissecting and watching sports. I'm more into the music. I'm more into going out and seeing live bands and dancing at your shows with Christina. We go and do those things. Fun, So
that's a lot of fun, and it's important, Michael, when you have somebody. Me being married 3 times.
Mhm.
Having someone as your spouse or girlfriend or whatever it is to supports what you do, because you have to be out there performing a lot on Fridays and Saturdays a lot of times when other couples are going out having fun. Well, so when you have Christina helping you out like that, and what I have to say, I'm thinking, Christina, hoping she's listening, but with her post that she comes out with, we use about a bunch of her quotes that she
Oh my
comes up
God.
with. My wife reads them on Thursday because they are funny, just when she gets down to the point. But you believe, Mike, when you have somebody behind you like that supporting you, it's a big plus.
It's a huge plus. You want to drive forward. There's a balance to it. You can't be too self-absorbed, and we've talked about that. There's a definite balance that happens, and you have to kind of work through it, and you have to communicate, and you have to kind of try and get ahead of things, which is something I'm still working on. As far as getting myself, attuned to making sure that we're going to go do something, making sure that, it's not just all about me, that kind of thing. So, I appreciate her coming out. I know it's sometimes tough, as a point man, as a lead singer, you have other people, other women, they're having a good time. Sometimes they get out of hand. Sometimes, they want to dance and have some, some fun. And, you just have to know how to behave. you have to know where the balance is and where the borders are and the boundaries are.
And I'm going to tell you something.
Reassurance.
It makes a lot of sense. Like, my wife knows I'm out there, right? And there's girls that are out there like that. And she doesn't. Right. Here's her concern. When I say it to her when she's on the show, she goes, "I don't mind when you hug and do what you got to do," but then she looks sometimes and she goes, "Why does this one get a longer hug than this one does?" So, it's like, okay, it's like crazy, but, it's got a point sometimes. It makes you wonder. Right. Michael, all right, let's get to some music. Oh, real fast. Were you a Spinal Tap fan?
Not a huge Spinal Tap fan. I mean, I appreciate and love, some of the fun, little quirks that came from it, like Dial Into 11, all those different things. Yeah, I mean, they're little things that
getting lost trying to get back to the stage when you're, behind the curtains and stuff like that. They're making a sequel. They're coming it out. And then in the sequel, Rob Rogers is going to do it again. But in the sequel, Elton John will be in it, and so will Paul McCartney. So that should be very interesting. Are you a Beatles or Stones fan, Mike?
I would say more Beatles than Stones. I mean, just because the Beatles, I'm not a huge Beatles fan for the fact that my brother and the influence was all, Led Zeppelin and Boston and those kind of things, those bands as they were coming along. But you can't discount the influence of the Beatles and just the writing, if you want to say genius that was taking place back then. It just, you saw an evolution also too, from a certain style of music to in the 70s. And all of a sudden it started having a different feel. And then it morphed on after that, so the Beatles hit after hit after hit. You can't battle with anything.
How many
like
people
that.
can do that? Not many.
No.
Yeah. And another news.
The only one that's coming close now these days, I would say, is who's the one that's the chick who's out there she's killing it.
Taylor Swift.
One of those, pop artists, whatever else. Everything they write is a #1 something,
Michael, do you realize she's got the most Billboard, the biggest selling female artist of all time, mind you.
It's crazy.
And it's all about her breakups with her boyfriends, and I think the boyfriends should all get together and sue and get a piece, because all their songs are about them, so they should all get a piece of the money, right?
Some royalties out of it. Man, one of the things I wish I would have done when I was younger is write something. put something out there. I don't care if what the hell it would have been, but you can't go back in time and do it. You can only maybe do it now. But I know that you had mentioned earlier on. Was it Jonathan Cain from Journey, and he got his first $1 million check.
Yeah.
As a royalty. You were mentioning it at one of your gigs. You mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing
amazing.
that.
And so, Don't Stop Believing when him and Steve Perry. I mean, everybody. I mean, even the former President Clinton used it as a campaign. I mean, it's out there.
Yes.
And I don't care how old you are. When you play that song, people will get up and dance.
It resonates. And there's a ton of songs that resonate like that. And you're right in a sense. We do play those things, and we play all those songs. A lot of bands, we played some of the same songs. I was talking to Tyler, from Ara at one time, and that was kind of the subject, that we play a lot of the same songs, same sets, in that way. But people enjoy them. As we've been playing them for years and years and years, you want to play something else sometimes, and that's for Focal Point. We're going to introduce some other tunes, that we've wanted to play for some time. They're still famous. I mean, like Foo Fighters and different bands like that have done very well. So we're gonna involve some new tunes and play a little, I mean, they're still older tunes, but they're a little bit, let's say, younger than some of the
older classic tunes. Right. My good friend Michael from Focal Point, everybody. I just want to sing a big my good friend Lenny Rago, of course, which works with Seventh Heaven and has a bunch of Panini's pizzas and stuff like that. His aunt just passed away at the age of 90 years old. So our prayers go out to Lenny and the Rago family. Also, folks, very, very important stuff. Big announcement. Sammy Hagar reaches out to David Lee Roth and Alex Van Halen, and they're going to go out on a final tour, and let's go out. First of all, I was always a Van Hagar fan, didn't care for Van Halen. What about you?
You know what? I like them both. I appreciate some of the what David Lee Roth did and how he did it, as far as stage presence and just his way of writing. He explained it in an interview once, and it was really interesting. So I have a huge appreciation for how he developed himself and what drove him. It was a great interview that he did. On Sammy Hagar, I was a huge Hagar fan.
Montrose.
Even when Montrose, Three Lock Box, all that kind of stuff, So, when he came on with Van Halen, it was a big deal. In fact, years back, the Man Cow show was a real popular show back then, and they had a contest for tickets for Van Halen, and I did a big giant, if you want to say, banner. It was for the Balance Tour, and I entered that into the contest. I won second row seats. I got beat out by a carpet. but I got second row seats and I took my brother, and we had second row seats with Eddie Van Halen and Sammy up on stage. It was a phenomenal thing, but that was cool.
That is very cool. Richard Hamlin, a good friend of ours, he says Sammy, Dave is not welcome for the entire tour, but it will be a certain area and certain whatchamacallits. I also want to say another hello to a great entertainer in the Chicagoland area from the Rob Post Band, also with Off Broadway. Jim Cunningham is in the house. Jim is another sweet guy. I had him on the show, down to earth. I love what he's doing with Off Broadway and he does with the Rob Post Band. Jimmy, how you doing, buddy? All right, let's get to a couple things. Here's a question I'm going to ask all musicians, and I need you to be honest here.
Yep.
You see bands out there, live, tracks, no tracks. The Tony Ocean Band is a complete track show, and I do not try to hide it, and that's what it is. Mojo's Jukebox is completely live. I believe, and it's been going back through many, 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 many years, whether it was ELO in the 70s, using these kind of things. I believe it's the future. I believe people have been doing it for many, many years. What's your take on the whole thing?
Yeah, you know what? Tracks, if they're done well, are phenomenal. The issue with tracks is, number one, it's technology. Back then, it was a little tougher to kind of capture the technology and make it work. These days, it's almost seamless. Push the button, you have that instrument, It's staged in. We've had that conversation ourselves. We were very much against tracks for a lot of years. We had keyboard player, we were full band, we're full live band. Going forward, we may introduce tracks. It's been tougher to have a keyboard player available for all the dates that we wanted to, and to have that kind of work. But with a keyboard player, with tracks, you have to have a drummer that can key in that and make that happen.
Perfect example.
And we run in ears.
Yeah.
We run in ears, so we're in good shape with that.
Perfect example who does an incredible job with it is our friends from Seventh Heaven. They are very good at that. And what people might not know, and I'm so sick and tired of people bashing Seventh Heaven, first of all, it's all jealousy bullshit. You don't realize what Richie does in his studio. They record everything themselves, adding the background vocals. It's their vocals. It's their stuff. When they do a miraculous job with it, they're very good at it. And it's always the people that bitch and moan are the ones that aren't working and they're just jealous. And you know what? So they've been doing it incredibly well for many, many, many years. And that's all it's about. I'm not just saying it because they're friends of mine, but they work very hard at that. And I think it's important. Another question, Michael. You see a band, you want to go see Black Sabbath, just say, and the guys, 2 or 3 guys are not there. It's the Black Sabbath with guys who are in the band for maybe 6 months. How do you take on that whole take?
You know what? For like a legacy type of band, I think they survive when there are original members. I think that happens, and people then gravitate to it. I've got a buddy of mine, Mike Hansen, who is a phenomenal percussion drummer, and he's with the band Hurricane. Hurricane was an '80s band. They had a couple, big hits towards the later end of the whole hair band kind of feel.
Yeah, I remember.
But they were a working band. I mean, they were out touring and doing different things, and they've had scenarios where that's happened, where they've had people that were in the original band, and then they've left, and now they've had to fill in for some of those people, and phenomenal musicians, but the crowd, if you want to say the your audience, is still looking for that, that original member, kind of like your Ace Frehley or your Peter Criss kind of scenario. When they're missing, all of a sudden they kind of drift away. They're still fans, but they drift away from the live environment. Right. So it changes things.
And
it does.
Everything now is, most of the bands that are out there, the big selling bands. I mean, there's guys adding tracks to adding another guitar player, or maybe adding more horns if they don't have horns. It's a big thing, and I know people are down on it, but I believe in it. I think if it's done right, just like you said, Mike, I think it's very, very important. We got a couple birthdays here. You're watching Ocean's Pit. Let's say hello to our dog Zoe's 2 years old today. Happy birthday, our dog Zoe. JLL White, great actors. Oscar Robertson, folks from the NBA basketball. Love him, man. Chris Carter, former Minnesota Viking, turned 58 years old today. Actor from the Brat Pack, Judd Nelson, celebrates a birthday. Berry Gordy, the co-founder of Motown, celebrates a birthday. Jonathan McNabb, great quarterback with the Philadelphia Eagles, formerly with the Eagles, turns 47 years old. Vince Scully, a great announcer in baseball with the Los Angeles Dodgers, celebrating a birthday. A guy I can't stand, Jon Stewart. Don't care for his political views. Don't care him on late night, but it is his birthday today. God bless him. Kathy Eppolito, if you're watching, happy birthday to your lovely daughter, Marissa. Happy birthday. Johnny Garini's in the house. Another great entertainer. Ronnie B. Elvis is watching. He loves the Elvis stuff. For all you wrestling fans, King Ernie Ladd turns 85. And let's not forget Felix Cavalieri from the Young Rascals. What a great songwriter. What a great entertainer. And Chicago's own, the man behind the sound and everything for Seventh Heaven, Mike, and a great singer in his own right, Dino Manzella. Dino celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Dino. My good buddy Mike from Focal Point. Mike, I'm going to throw some singers at you because we don't have too many. We had about 10 minutes left. I'm going to throw some singers at you. And before we do that, why don't you tell me, if they've never seen Focal Point, what kind of music they're going to get?
You're going to get, you're talking about a variety of jukebox. Let's talk. You're gonna get Styx, Blue Collar Man. You're gonna get Journey, Autograph, a little bit of Foreigner, some Bon Jovi, Billy Squier, Journey. Like I said, some Van Halen. What else we got? Some Tom Petty, little Wild Cherry, play that funky music. Summer of '69. High on You by Survivor. I mean, these are all songs, like you said, a jukebox. That's what you're going to get out of us in a lot of ways. You'll start seeing some '90s tunes, with some Foo Fighters, maybe a little bit of Alter Bridge, maybe some stretched little vocals with some different bands that are like Hemorrhage, Fuel from Hemorrhage, different things like that.
I couldn't
So
tell
we're going to bring in some '90s.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you anything past the '80s. I know the name of
Yeah.
the bands, but I couldn't tell you what they sound like because when grunge came, it destroyed the whole music thing for me.
It was depressing. It's depressing music. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but it's depressing music. It's not uplifting in a lot of ways. So you have to pick and choose certain songs, from that era. I'm finding that when we play out, there's two types of crowds. There's the crowd that I identify with, which is your '80s, type of music.
Sure.
And then there's also a younger crowd that's into Shinedown, that's into some really great bands, that are out there. And like I said, Alter Bridge is another one. Creed. So there are great bands there that have been around for a while, for a long time, that really deserve, and those are the songs that they identify with. So we're trying to create some of a bridge to kind of meet
So you can
some of
mix
that
and
demand.
mingle, which is great with all different songs. A lot of more great entertainers. Gary Witz is watching right now. Gary, great drummer.
He played drums for us.
Yeah.
He played drums with us at what do you call it, Docs?
Yeah, Anthony Napolitano, great drummer, was with me for many years. Of course, he's with our gang. Says hello, Marion. How you doing, honey? Hope you're doing well. It's great seeing some other musicians watching and supporting. My friend Debbie, how you doing, honey? I hope you're doing well. All right, so Focal Point. Where are you guys coming up? Where are you playing? Coming up anywhere? And where's a website if they want to find out show dates? What do you got coming up this week? Anything?
Show dates. Well, you know what? Right now, we're taking a little bit of break to learn some of the new music and learn some of the new stuff. But we will be booking and landing some stuff probably for 2024. We're going to talk to Joey with DeMarco. Joey. He books us with United Talent.
Sure.
But you can check us out at focalpoint5.com. So that's focalpoint, the number 5.com. I would have been Focal Point just itself, but that was like some tech company here, so way back when. So I just decided to put the 5 in there because there were 5 members of the band. So focalpoint5.com. You can hear some of what we do. There's music and a list of music that we do, our promo video, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like you said, a jukebox was what we do, classic rock. We carry some of the, on our promo, there's some Bruno Mars in there too, just to kind of shake things up as far as dance. But it's a collection of music that we've carried over through
the years. And you want to make everybody, so when you go, the basic thing, folks, go see Focal Point. You have a good time. You go see Mike and the boys. They're going to play some great songs, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and we're learning some new music as well. Make sure you go out and support them.
And also, too,
go ahead.
I just want to give a shout out to, I do sing with another band called Snapshot.
Okay.
And Snapshot, I'm playing with them this weekend over at Shakers in Ottawa. So if you're out in the Ottawa area, which is a little bit further out,
Sure.
Shakers is a pretty big place to come and check out a band, but we're going to be there and I'll be singing with them and jamming the whole night.
You got to love that. And I love what Johnny G said, since Johnny's working 4 or 5 nights a week like I do. And, because we're doing this full time and stuff, but it's hard to go out and see other bands. And that's one thing that I hate. I hate that, and nobody plays on a Monday or a Tuesday. So it sucks. But I love to support you. I love what you're doing. All right, Mike, here's some guys. Just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Are you ready? Going to number 10.
Ready.
Going to number 10. Joe Elliott, Def Leppard.
Oh, definitely thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Phil Moog, UFO.
Thumbs up. I mean, real tough vocalist to kind of capture what he can do.
Another underrated vocalist, Paul Rogers. Paul Rogers. Bad.
Wasn't a big Paul Rogers fan, but you know what? I'm not going to say thumbs down because I don't know the music all that well.
Yeah.
But I'll say thumbs, let's go sideways.
Sideways. There you go. And I even seen Paul Rogers when he backed with Queen. So he was the singer of Queen for a few years. So they were doing Queen songs and Bad Company years. Paul Rogers. How about David Bowie?
David Bowie was I wasn't a huge David Bowie fan, but later on, I realized the dynamic that he actually created in the music industry, and it was more of the spacing. So I'm going to say thumbs up with Bowie
All right.
because he has legacy.
You got to love it. One of great voices, David Coverdale.
Oh, up high.
What a voice
To
on
this
this
day,
guy, man. What
I mean, I
power.
cover Coverdale. I cover them, with songs in the Whitesnake that we do, and it's, it's one of the toughest, covers you can do to even emulate and even try and hit that high. Some days I can, some days I
And
can't.
he's got that
And
little rasp in his voice too, which is very, very cool. Let's go to the great Steve Perry.
One of the best. Steve, I mean, he's just top. Steve Perry doesn't do Steve Perry anymore.
Yeah, right, exactly. Everybody else tries to sound like Steve, but there's only one. You're right.
You try and mimic the characters as you do it. Like you do a great. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that you do, but the one that was it. Wake up, say I think I.
Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart. Hey. You did Rod Stewart, and it flew me on my chin. I was like, what?
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love that stuff. Hey, number 4, Robert Plant.
The best. I mean, Christina's probably looking at me like, you better say yes.
You better say yes.
She's a huge Zeppelin fan, but he's just an amazing vocalist, and just how he actually phrased the words. Perry was as well the same way.
What about let's go to the Who? Roger Daltrey?
Wasn't a huge Daltrey fan. I'm going to give him a mid. I mean, I appreciate it, but I wasn't a big, Daltrey fan.
Freddie Mercury, Queen.
The top. I mean, it's just, off the charts. Nobody can touch Freddie.
They don't make them like him, man. They're fantastic.
No. I mean, I think the kid who does it now does a great job. The kid, I forgot the kid who was doing it. Was American Idol or whatever else he was.
Adam Lambert. That guy's got his voice. Wow,
crazy voice. I mean, and just huge. In fact, my buddy Mike Hansen, they did a cover of the one that they did with Bowie. Dun, 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 dun,
oh yeah.
Undercover.
Under pressure.
Under pressure. Undercover. Yeah. Under pressure. They did a remake of that song on his newest album, and they did a phenomenal job. I mean, the video was awesome just as well, but the talent on there was just impeccable. If you ever get a chance to check it out, I'll send you the link sometime. But
send it to you. I love it, man. I just threw a couple guys out there. Lou Gramm, the original voice of Foreigner. I mean,
way underrated.
Wow.
Way underrated. Yeah, and somebody that it's hard to do. I mean, a cover band for Lou Gramm is not an easy task.
No, we do two Foreigner songs in Mojo. It's tough, and of course, I think the most vocalist of all time, Robin Zander from Cheap Trick. The voice that man has, I'm sorry, man, he is just fantastic.
Range was a huge thing. I mean, in his voice, just a huge range. There's artists out there, if you want to say vocalists, that are like Mick Jagger. Completely stylized. Not the greatest singer, but just character-wise and knew how to place, phrasing to make it happen. Then you got like a Steve Perry, that's just off the charts, just melodic and gorgeous.
You got last but not least, Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler, just another one, legacy that won't quit. I don't know how somebody can maintain a voice like that for 25, 30 years. I mean, and still hit it. It's, it's something to look forward to. But you know what? There's a shelf life with what I feel. I mean, that I have capacity to do, and that's why I enjoy what I do. I enjoy, singing, but I know it's not something that's going to be forever. It's not something that's going to last, and that's why we kind of push it. I'm going to push it to the limit. And I'm 55 now. I see myself.
You got time, Michael. I'm 61. You got time. Yeah. You got time. Don't ever give up, man.
Worst case scenario, we'll do some acoustic stuff and we'll just tone it down. That's all. But I think we'll be playing for a while.
Lower the key a little bit and say, fuck it. We're still going to do it, right?
I go half down now. I go half a step down now. I'm not ashamed to say it. It's what keeps me. That's what makes me be able to do 3 hours of music. People ask and say, well, what song you're doing, or you do a 3-hour show. I said, yeah. They're like, oh, that's cool, and they're like, well, maybe, that's really hard. I'm like, you know what? Go sing Happy Birthday in the shower, okay? And then figure on doing it for 3 hours. and that'll tell you, there's a vocal challenge sometimes. It can be exhausting.
It can
Sometimes
definitely
you
be,
get tired.
and especially like when even with Musty, when we're going from the Sinatra to the rock stuff, to the disco, to the pop stuff. I know you're just saying it's very
Huge shift,
difficult, guys.
huge
First of
shift. And
all,
like I said, the certain when you shift from different genre, that's not easy to do. That's not easy to pull off. People don't
trust
realize that to mimic those artists. And like I said, it's cool. I enjoy your show. We go out, Christina and I, we go out, we have fun, we enjoy ourselves. I'm not a musician when I go out in the sense I'm there as a spectator enjoying your show. We go to dance, we have fun, we go to other places, we have fun. And at times you do criticize and you're kind of critical here sometimes, with
sure,
different
sure,
things.
sure.
You listen to harmonies, are they hitting it, that kind of thing. So
And it's important. I mean, and you think about it when you're out there. And I always thought myself, the live and loose, and I don't care if it's that's the way I've been my whole
mhm.
life. We are coming to the end of the hour, folks. Mike, my good friend Mike from Focal Point. You got to make sure you check these guys out, folks. Tonight, Rosario's in Roselle. Tomorrow, Donnie G's. Friday, Chicago Prime. Saturday, sold out show in Champaign for Shop the Cop. We have a lot of Ocean's Rat Pack shows coming up. Very important, folks. The Lyric Theater next Saturday on the 9th of December is sold out. Carriage Green on the 14th of December is sold out. The 31st, the Performing Arts Center for New Year's Eve in Munster, Indiana, with Ocean's Rat Pack is sold out. My birthday bash coming up on the 28th. I'd love to have you out there, Mike, singing some songs. Mojo's going to be there. John Vincent. A lot of guys are going to be there. It's going to be at the Fox Run Links in Elk Grove. It's going to be a lot of fun on the 28th. But, guys, remember one thing. It's very important. Let's get to our quick sponsor before we say goodbye. And, of course, it's our friends from Ace Hardware. Buy local, shop local. Ace is the place. Norwich, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville. You got to love them, folks. Please take advantage of their download their Ace Rewards app. Easy way to keep track of their points, coupons, and special offers. That's Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Ace, helping neighbors be further with neighborhoods. Don't forget Mama D's bread loaves. They're selling like hotcakes. Contact me or my lovely sister, Natalie Bosch. Natalie keeping the tradition alive. Michael from Focal Point, thank you so much, buddy. Hope you have a nice holiday. Hope to see you soon. Keep going out. Keep playing. Keep doing what you do, man, and keep being humble because that's what's a great guy that you are, my brother. Guys, couple things. Buy local, shop local. Support local establishments and live entertainment. And it's very, very important. The great words of Ringo Starr, peace and love. I'll be back tomorrow with Laura Ocean, my co-host, and my good buddy Jerry Maselli on Friday, doing a lot of good stuff with kids these days. Guys, right now it's very important to be peace and love. We need it in this world. Things have got to change in 2024. Let's do the right thing. Let's make America great. And besides that, guys, you guys are incredible. Thank you so much for watching every day. Hey, guys, God bless. Hey, Nick Sahajas, the piano man, take us out. Thank you.
Time to go. It's the end of the show. See you later from Tony O.
My good buddy Mike from Focal Point. Goodbye, buddy. Thank you, Michael. Bye-bye, everybody.